Hi all, I'm Akshay Ji and I'll be taking podcast of Sagar Gupta from Razorpay. He has experience in banking domain and also in fintech. So Sagar, are you ready for the podcast? Okay. So the first question which I have is, what inspired you means to get into product management from engineering domain to product side? So what was the journey like?
Uh, First of all, thank you for having me here. Uh, I think I got into product management because before even product management was popular in India. So uh, I accidentally ended up joining a startup after my third year as a founding member. So we started from a place where we were initially actually in a 2 BHK, where like we used to we used to sleep there, we used to work there, we used to have a beer, and then again we used to sleep again.
Oh,
And
that's
that was the
interesting.
journey for at least I think 2 months when we started up before we raised our initial funding. Uh, and again, then we got our initial funding and then got funded by Sequoia and Kalari. So that is the life I enjoyed, and I think I was privileged to get the chance to do it in college itself. So throughout my final year, this was like this is something what I was doing and not more of college. Like bunked a lot of classes. Uh, Now, what got initially when I started my career, started as a developer, uh, and the startup that we started was Grabhouse.com. As we grew bigger, and initially when you started something, right, you have to do everything. You are not a developer. You have to figure out like design. You have to figure out like what does the user want. You need to figure out user journey. You need to figure out uh, like how are you tracking the metrics, if it is successful or not, right? Ultimately, it's not confined to just developing the product, but doing everything around the product. Right? That made me realize that as the team scaled, I would want to do more of product management, and that is something that is the time where Flipkart actually made it popular, term popular in India, and not just be confined to developing, developing the product that we were developing. Right? And then again spoke with the founders, like asked, can I move to product management? And obviously he was happy about it because he has seen me grow over time initially. I think that was a time where I formally went into product management, and again I think we have scaled it from there. We got acquired by Quicker, yeah, and that's where I realized, okay, this is the journey that I would want to continue, and have been continuing from there.
Okay. So the journey started in Grub House,
Yeah.
which was the startup built in a 2 BHK
Yes.
house with your close set of friends.
Right.
That was very inspiring. And I would like to ask the next question. What was one moment which pivoted in your career, which was like you made it, but that was a breakthrough given to you, which was.
I think so. I had a chance to work with like few bright minds. I would say. After Grabhouse got acquired, I got joined a startup called Jumbotail.
Okay.
And Jumbotail is a B2B e-commerce company. One of the founder, I think, founder is also pretty inspiring. His name is Karthik.
Okay.
And Karthik came from Stanford, worked in US for certain years in product management. Again, then moved to India to start Jumbotail. Uh, while interacting with Karthik, I realized that till now I've been confined to just thinking of India, but product management in general has a lot of scope when we start thinking globally. Right? That is actually, I still remember the moment where I was interviewing with Karthik, and I think I had 5 offers that time, but the one discussion with Karthik changed everything. Right? It made me realize that this is a person I would want to work with. This is a person I would want to learn from. And I think he mentored me over time during Jumbotail, which I think, and that one single interview is something that sort of changed my trajectory towards how even I look at product management. And this in 2017.
So Karthik is the pivotal movement.
Yeah.
He is the person.
He's the person that's inspired me to do things better.
Okay. So the next question is about Razorpay. You are the director there now of product management. So the question is, how do you balance between innovation and the stability of the product, especially when it comes to fintech and banking products? It needs to be very robust,
Right.
and even a single defect or single failure can cause multiple effects. So how do you balance?
So I think for fintech, it's not about balance. For fintech, a lot of innovation is driven by reliability and trust. Right?
Okay.
So, and both of them go hand in hand together. To give an example, we launched a product called self-heal payments. Right? Self-heal payments is something very new to the market. Although it's an innovation, but it is actually helping us building stability and trust in the customer.
Okay.
Right? Similarly, we figured out something called auto reconciliation. Auto reconciliation, although it's something new, because so that merchant does not need to worry about where their money is. But again, although it's innovation, it is more about how can we make the systems more stable and reliable. Right? So in fintech, because we sell trust, a lot of innovation is actually brought by the stability and reliability we provide to the customers.
Okay, so the innovation part in fintech is about making the product more robust and reliable.
Most trustworthy.
More trustworthy.
Once we gain the trust for the customers, I think rest all follows automatically, I'll say.
Okay. So the next question is about early days before you started product management. I would like to more know about those days. What were you thinking? What you wanted to become, and how did that shape? Or was there any advice given to you by your mentors and anything from your early stage?
So, what I think more than advice, what I realized is I like the craft of building. I like the craft of identifying problems and figuring out how what is the best way to solve it.
Okay.
Right. And again, before I was actually a PM, since we are in a startup, we were already doing parts of it, right?
Yes.
And that was actually fun, right? It never felt like working. And I think when we started, we used to work 15-16 hours a day, but it never felt like work. Like it always felt like, okay, we are figuring out something new. We are the happiness you get when you actually solve a problem in a meaningful way is something I think that always drove me. And that is actually the motivation for me to even figure out like, okay, sure, I should be entering product management, because this is actually one core job which will help you figure out how can you solve meaningful problems in a great way.
Okay. So one follow-up question which I have, which is regarding to Grubhouse, which was a startup you were building with your friends. So how did that role in Grubhouse and Jumbotail shape you, and how is that helping you in your current role?
I think initially when we started, I never cared about titles, what I was doing. It was just about figuring out how can I learn better, right? And what I've realized is a lot of fundamentals. For example, now we have been thinking about AI, right? But the fundamental of product management still remains same, which is how can you make great judgments, right? I'll say there are 3 fundamentals of product management. Maybe like how much customer empathy do you have? Can you make great judgment, basically, and hence clear thinking? Third thing I will say, how creative you are, right? Because you have to figure out creative ways to solve the problem, right? If you get these fundamentals right, I think you will end up building great products irrespective of the changing technology, right? And because ultimately you will be able to figure out the right pain point and figure out the right way to solve the problem. So what I've realized is a lot of fundamental work or the first principles work that I did with Grubhouse and Jumbotail helped me fundamentally become stronger and not get tied up to the shiny things, I will say.
Okay.
So, and although initially it felt like, okay, things were slow because like building these fundamental skills take time, but it definitely helped me go into a much steeper trajectory in career at a later point of time in career.
Okay. So building that core skill set,
yes,
and not eyeing for shiny titles or anything is more important in the early stage of the career.
So I think you have to become great at first principles thinking. If you're able to crack that, I think rest everything becomes easier.
Yes, that's a great insight. So coming to AI and the new technologies, what are the main use cases or what problems it can solve, customer pain points out of your mind?
I think I'll relate it to fintech specifically. I think fintech is all about trust and reliability. So one of the largest problem that we can solve is like how can we ensure that the payments are more reliable, and hence self-heal payment is one large because every payment systems are complex, right? There are multiple parties, there are multiple networks in the layer. Like we make like few hundreds of API calls to make a single payment successful, right?
Mm.
How can you make the how can we ensure that you see anyone can move money, right? And it's easy to move money. How can you make sure that the last 0.2, 0.3%, which actually at the scale of few million transactions can disrupt the customer experience, how can you solve for that,
Yes.
right? That's where the moat lies.
Yes.
So how can we ensure that all such edge case payments are self-healing is a great place where I think AI agents will add a lot of value. Second is fraud detection. Anything which comes to money, like bad actors will always be behind it, right?
Yes.
How can you ensure that you are one step ahead of the fraudster, because they are also evolving things, right? AI is also helping them even make their tactics better.
It's a two-way.
It's a two-way sword, right? Now, how can we ensure that we are using agents to be one step ahead of them? Right?
Okay.
Third is, I think in fintech, most of the boring things are done at scale, right? How can you automate a lot of boring things, like for example, reconciliation, for example, like accounting of the systems. Fourth thing I will say is, how can you provide great insights into money movement to users, right? For example, can I say that okay, you can optimize your cash flow by maybe using corporate card, or maybe you are spending maybe X amount here, just by getting like shifting your transaction mode from NEFT to IMPS, you can optimize your working capital, right? These are very deeper insights you can get from the data, where AI agents can be a lot more powerful.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. So we'll have a quick rapid fire round. It's a fun round. You have to be quick. So the first question is, describe product leadership in 3 words.
Product leadership in 3 words is getting your team fundamentally right.
Okay. What's the most unconventional productivity hack which you use?
I think wake up early in the morning.
Right.
Yes, I think it always helps to have that focus time because PMs have to do a lot of stakeholder management, right? So they will be full of distractions. So if that 2-hour slot gives you the time for deep thinking, which ultimately even guides your day, I'll say.
Oh, that's really nice. And what is the coolest feature or product which you have shipped?
I think one thing that we shipped is how can we make escrow transactions real time. And usually escrow transactions there are multiple parties in the ecosystem, and every party needs to authorize the transaction. We realized we can make this real time within 5 seconds just by connecting these parties. And I don't know, and all these innovations are invisible, right? For example, I can go to Cred, I can withdraw loan within seconds. I used to go to Cred Mint and I could invest within seconds. All this background work was actually done by Razorpay.
Oh,
right. So we see the outcome, but the invisible magic was powered by Razorpay. So I think that is a lot of things. And because ultimately you are fueling the economy.
I think that you work in milliseconds. I think, right? Even milliseconds,
nanoseconds is a lot, I'll say. For payments, it has to be nanoseconds, ideally.
Nanoseconds. Yeah. And what is your dream product which you would like to build with unlimited resources?
I think healthcare has a lot of scope in India. I think none of the products that are now have been able to sort of solve it. And I feel and I think one of the examples that was discussed in the panel discussion was only 70% of the diagnoses are right. And that's scary, right? It means that I'm going to a doctor, 30% of the times I might get a wrong diagnosis.
Is it?
Right? How can we use AI? How can we use data to figure out how can getting the diagnosis at least right for 99% of the time, right? So given unlimited resource, that is one problem I would definitely want to solve.
That's a very interesting product. One misconception which product managers have, which you think, about product management, which people have?
I feel PMs usually go towards how to solve the problem, and not on what problem and why do we even need to solve this problem.
Okay.
For example, people have been hyping a lot more about how can we use AI. I think it should not be about how to use AI. It should be about what pain point are we solving. If you get right about the pain point you are solving, rest of it, everything will follow automatically.
Okay. The why part in the product
Yes.
has to be
Why and the what? Like what
Why?
problem are you solving and who are you solving for again?
okay. How is gonna take care of that comes in the latest.
Exactly. And because AI is the way to solve it in a faster, safer, at a scalable way, right?
Mhm.
But the problem that you are solving, it has to be right.
Mhm. And it also has to be linked with the customers.
Yes.
Which we are.
And that's like who we are solving for.
So it's the last question which I have, closing question. It's also very important to all our MBA students and graduates who will be seeing this video. So what advice do you have for aspiring product managers
Mhm.
to break into product management?
I think focus on three key aspects. Become great at clear thinking and great judgment. Start developing great empathy. Third thing is start figuring out how can you find creative ways to solve the problem, right? And because that's where the moat will lie as the world is evolving.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Akshay.
It was a great podcast having you, and it was a privilege having you at XLRI for Aurora 3.0.
I think
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
calling me
coming.
here. I think I had a great time with all of you guys.
Thank you.